All right, here's a review of the cat. 2 ears, 1 tail, 2 eyes, 4 paws. Quite a simple design and good build quality. Just like with other animals, which at first glance seem to be just perfect. However, behind this beautiful appearance, evolution hid many mistakes no one was supposed to know about. I don't have to tell you the ocean is still not explored well enough. That's why people who suddenly discovered a strange fish on the surface were really surprised. It wasn't like any known species. No one has ever seen anything like it. Meet the black swallower, a small fish that can grow up to 10 inches long and prefers to live as deep in the ocean as possible. It's believed it could dwell as deep as 2.4 miles, so the black swallower was not easy to find. Not until evolution made a mistake. The black swallower feeds on fish, swallowing it whole. Thanks to its distensible stomach, it can swallow prey over twice its length and 10 times its mass. It's something like an underwater hamster. The only difference is that hamsters spit out everything they manage to hide so that they can then eat it slowly and in parts. The black swallower has no such opportunity. Evolution simply didn't give the fish an ability to spit stuff out, and so black swallower's greed can become its doom. It just needs to swallow fish 4 to 6 times its size to sign a death warrant for itself. It's simply impossible to digest such prey fully, so as a result, it begins to decompose, release gases which push the black swallower to the surface of the ocean. This is how people found out about the existence of black swallower. They just caught a strange something. But it seems to me that even if the prey is successfully digested, the life of a black swallower can hardly be called comfortable. I mean, is it convenient to swim with such a huge thing? It looks just as ridiculous as an elementary school student with a giant backpack. What if a predator spots you? Or if you get stuck somewhere or hit something? A very strange decision, evolution. You didn't even try, did you? And this is not the only case when evolution has created something incomprehensible and completely impractical. Take, for example, the way giraffes give birth. During this process, the female does not sit or lie down like many other animals. This can damage the baby's long neck, so his life begins with a challenge. He has to jump from a height of 6.5 feet without any safety gear. Ouch! That's not how I imagined this. How about animals whose tusks or horns pierce their heads simply because they're growing? Evolution didn't invent any way to avoid this. Who in their right mind would come up with a design that would just kill the animal over time? That's nonsense. I think if people were the ones who created animals, they would probably try to take into account all the requirements and fix all mistakes. Perhaps it wouldn't have worked at the first attempt, but over time, in new versions, we would learn how to create organisms closer to perfection. At least because we're trying to study how and why they work. Here's a simple example. A human's airways are located too close to his esophagus, and if something goes wrong, we risk choking and suffocating. A very ill-conceived design, since you can be killed by a simple desire to satisfy your hunger. In some ways, we're similar to black swallowers. Can this problem be avoided? Of course. Nature even has a working solution: whales. These big mammals have developed blowholes on top of their head with the same function as the nostrils in other mammals. This means that whales don't have to raise the whole head above the water to get air into the lungs. At the same time, this construction separates the trachea completely from the esophagus, so that whales do not risk choking on food or water when diving. Imagine how convenient that is. If a human is choking on food, he can only count on the help of others who know how to do the Heimlich maneuver. Whales don't even need to think about that. They just swim and eat as they wish. If only humans could design animals. I really think we could make the planet a better place, or at least improve our own bodies. The important thing is that the technologies that make it possible to change everything around fall into the right hands. Well, at least not in such hands. Actually, it's a little frustrating. See for yourself. Thanks to evolution, life on Earth has evolved from tiny microorganisms to huge dinosaurs, from silly tadpoles to humans. That's brilliant. So why wasn't it possible to think through all the actions in advance to avoid creating obviously unsuccessful adaptations? How could things like that happen at all? Well, I have an answer to this question. Evolution does not think, like at all. It doesn't make any plans for each specific species or in general, no schemes, no direction, no ideas to be realized in the future. Evolution only takes into account the best survival rates for individuals. If some variants of genes prove to be successful in that, then in the next generation, more individuals will inherit them. However, evolution can't plan for better features and then develop a set of genes that will produce that feature. In other words, it acts first, meant to say, and then thinks. But evolution doesn't think about anything. What? Long paws helped you make many babies? Good. Now all your descendants will have long paws. What do you mean they make walking hard? Well, figure it out somehow. I have a lunch break. Everyone probably came across such a worker at least once. Irresponsible, lazy, and moreover, damn slow. But it's kind of strange to realize he's responsible for the creation of all life on Earth. But you not only can improve the actions of evolution, you can also speed it up. Well, in lab conditions only, but it works about the same way as with artificial diamonds. What takes nature at least several thousand years, a human can create in just a couple of weeks. Okay, laboratory evolution takes more time. What scientists do can be called unnatural selection. For example, they select the protein with the most desirable features and then mutate it in the lab to continuously make it better. Though in fact, people use about the same tools found in nature. Nothing supernatural, we just know exactly what we're doing. Turns out that in the lab conditions, it's possible to achieve speeds many orders of magnitude higher than those in nature. In other words, evolution could theoretically go much faster than it did on Earth, and perhaps in a better direction. Today, humanity is learning to control evolution, sometimes without knowing about it, but any adaptation is an evolutionary mechanism, even if you have to adapt to coexisting with people. Due to the hunt for ivory, elephants with small tusks began to appear. The wings of Eurasian crag martens got smaller because it helps them maneuver better on busy roads where birds build their nests. In Puerto Rico, crested and old lizards have developed stickier toes and longer legs that help them cling to buildings. Even the great tits have evolved long beaks to pull food out of the feeders, and all this is an evolution that we sped up without any labs. Some studies rightly call humans super predators who cause animals to evolve 300% faster than it would occur naturally. 300%? The creatures we hunt try to get smaller and start multiplying as early as possible before humans can get to them. Well, that's pretty reasonable on their part, but I still can't comprehend how heavily we can affect nature. And I'm not even taking into account breeding, which, mind you, makes us much cooler than ordinary natural evolution. And it's not just about speed. Have you seen French bulldogs? They can be very cute, but as is often the case with artificial breeds, their attractive appearance came at a great cost for the dog's health. For French bulldogs, this means serious breathing problems, but they can be fixed. You just need to focus on the right genes during breeding that will make the dogs healthy again. Yes, maybe it will affect the appearance of the breed, but hey, what's more important? And here's an interesting fact for you. Evolution can't do something like this. It can't simply reverse the changes if they turn out to be of no use. The evolutionary path is a one-way road. What happens if an animal can't survive with its disadvantageous changes? Well, it dies then, and evolution goes on. Maybe it'll turn out better next time. No wonder some species choose not to place any hope on evolution. Not with an attitude like that. It's okay, though. They have a way to accelerate their development on their own, even without the help of humans, labs, and genetic engineering. Animals just steal genes. No, really. Scientists used to think that only bacteria did this when, for example, they spread traits like antibiotic resistance. But a 2010 study showed that larger creatures are also capable of stealing. Aphids come in different colors, and their fate often depends on them. Ladybugs hunt for red ones and wasps for green. Unlike flamingos, which turn pink as a result of their diet, aphids synthesize their pigments on their own. But this was not always like that. Originally, aphids borrowed it from fungus. It sounds amazing and very complicated at the same time, but tiny insects really got their genes in such an unusual way. Most likely, they did that to avoid the attack of certain predators. And you must admit, this is ingenious in its own way. See you later.